The Pulse. The Pulse. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The Pulse, the Pulse.
This is the Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast. Welcome to the show. I'm William Crooks, and today we're taking a closer look at what's happening in Stanstead Township. From rising taxes to infrastructure challenges and controversial bylaws, it's shaping up to be a pivotal year for the municipality. I recently spoke with Mayor Jean-Pierre Berger to break down what's really behind the numbers, what residents can expect, and how council plans to move forward. Here's that conversation.
Okay, I've been following up on a story I saw a few weeks ago in Report de Lac about some news on taxes in Stanstead Township, and I was hoping to get an explanation from my readers from the mayor about what's going on.
Yeah, of course, and you know, sometimes you have a large interview, and you know the journalist just takes some pieces of the discussion. Sometimes you know you see something and it's out of context. I didn't like the article because it's not it presented like that. It's not exactly the reality. So
sure, that's great. Well, what the Post tries to do, we have a morning email that kind of summarizes things for people, but I always do very long, full articles. I include everything people says for that very reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the online news. The strategy is usually like short 400-word pieces, so the reporter makes a lot of selection. But I try not to do that.
Yeah, because I just want to explain you for the beginning of the discussion.
Sure.
Among us, we have a cover bridge, old one, in the town here. You heard about that, and we have to fix, the bridge, and unfortunately, in 2019, the administration before asked to include the bridge in the protected asset, because it's historic.
Right, sure.
And the problem with that, after when you want to make any change, you need, a study from engineer, a study from an historical, and it costs 4 times the real cost, of just changing a window. You have to respect, the type of wood. It's crazy. What is supposed to cost maybe $600,000 or $700,000 to fix, cost in reality, because they ask for the cost to fix that and they respect for the historical building, and the evaluation of 2023 it costs $2,500,000 to fix the bridge, and the government of Quebec offered us a subvention of $1 million, but it remains to pay by the city, $1.5 million, and honestly, it's too much for a small town. We cannot afford, for something we don't use. It's only for the view. And during that bridge, because we have another modern bridge, beside that bridge, and because it's the subvention, enter in the MFP. Because we didn't want to because we call that in French a Greek gift, because
okay, like the Trojan horse.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because you gave me $1 million, fine, but I have to pay 1.5.
Right.
So like a poison ivy, and so what we did, we sent a letter to the government of Quebec. We cannot afford, the rest of the bill, and so we offer you. So if you can increase the subventions to maybe 80%, maybe it will be acceptable for the the people here. the citizen to pay the rest of the bills, but we cannot afford 60% of the bill, because it is too much. We're not mega, we're only a town of a little bit more than 1,000 of citizens. So we in fact we did not. We understand we need money, but we cannot. We kept the expense in the program, for the infrastructure for 3 years. When we publish the budget, we have to publish also what we want to do in the next 3 years. So we kept the bridge because we want to fix it. It's important. It's an historical asset for the town. But when we make the 3 years, what we want to do for the three next year for infrastructure, we put that at the right column, where the money will come from. So what we want, we want more of subvention and less, because we don't want to borrow money and increase more the tax of the citizen. We did increase, as a good increase this year, and I will talk about that after with you. So just want to clarify with you, it's important for us, but we cannot afford 1.5 million, and it was an evaluation of 2023, and as you know, everything increased.
Maybe give the situation in your own words in a minute, and I'll ask questions about that. Like what Reflect was saying is the tax increase might be as much as 18%.
Yeah, but it's, because the problem is, first, we have 3 kinds of houses here. We have, most of the houses are without services. Okay, so those ones were, were aimed by a raise of maybe 8 or 9%. So maybe it's 90% of the houses in the town. The other class of houses is the houses with only water. So those the gray water. So in Georgeville, they have the service of the gray water, but they don't have the service of the water you drink. Okay? And in Fitch Bay, they have both. They have the water to drink and the gray water. In fact, in Fitch Bay, it's only 44 houses. It's a very small part of the town. Yet they have the full services. And in Georgeville, they only have the gray water. But the reason we had to, because we have some expenses we cannot make money. We just recharge the cost directly to the cost we pay. We charge it without any profit to the citizen. And for the gray water, it's the case. Okay, why it increased like that at 18%? It's because we had to clean, the tank of the gray water, because it was made 25 years before. So and they didn't, make a provision each year to pay that. So that's the reason we had a big bill last year. So we have to cover that, and that's the reason it increased, because it's like, condominium. When you don't put aside some money to fix the roof in 5 or 10 years, you arrive, then you have nothing in front of you, and a good situation. It was the case for that reason for the gray water in Georgia. And in Fitch Bay, it was done before, and so that's the reason the increase was only 8-9%. So the only strange thing is about that, why it increased, but it's only for a few houses in Georgeville, but it's maybe 60 houses. I don't say that number because I'm not sure. If you want the exact number, you are better to call Daisy, François Lamé. Yeah. But so And why we had to, because the inflation was maybe 3-4% this year. Why an increase of 8-9%? Do you know the reason, or you want me to explain it?
Explain it, please.
Okay. It's because, last year it was an election year, and it's never a good, timing to increase on to be re-elected. So what they did last year, and if you want the proof of that, you just have to take a look about the budget of 2025 they did in December 2024. And because, as you know, it's always the same. You have income, you have expenses, and if your expenses are higher than the income, you have a loss, right? Okay? But because a city and a town cannot have a loss, they just put, a plug there, come from, the income of the past to cover, the loss, but it's a loss. Because if you don't have surpluses from the past, you cannot cover the loss. What they did, they used the past income to cover a loss of $660,000. So it was a very big loss. It was more than 10% of the budget. So by doing that, they were able to just increase the tax by 3% last year. But by doing that, because as you know, the expenses increase each year. So they gave us, a real problem because we have to increase more than inflation to cover, because the income increased less than the expenses, so that will get bigger if we do nothing. So in fact, we had to increase by 18% if we wanted to have an equilibrated budget in 2026. So what we did, we limit the increase at 9%. So we budget a loss of $200,000 approximately. But it's not so bad because, as you know, during the year we can have surprise. We can have a little bit of more income because, a city and a town, they receive, a transfer and tax depending, the sale in the city. So we budget an amount that sometimes it could be higher or maybe lower depending on the sales of property in the town. And also we can get some subvention we didn't expect that they open a program. So my DG is comfortable with that, and he thinks maybe we can end the year with only a loss of $100,000. So between 200, I was comfortable, but I wasn't willing to make another loss of $600,000. It's too huge. And also the accountant firm, they made the audit, Raymond Chabot, they told us, it's always better to get the surpluses equal to 50% of the budget of the year. And if we took the decision to continue with the loss of $600,000 for 2026, we will pass under the limit of 50%, and it's not good, for the finance of the city. And I want to maintain a good financial situation for the town. For that reason, I think we did a good budget. So we work on three aspects. We try to increase a little bit of the income with the tax. We try to limit the expenses, the best we can, and we try to make the lower loss we can. So we work on those three parts.
While I have you on the phone, is there any other challenges that Stanstead Township is facing in 2026?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe the most important, but are you talking about what the council wants or what the mayor wants? because
Well, you can talk about both if you want. I mean, one thing that comes to mind to me that I covered last year was this the new boating rules in Fitch Bay.
yeah,
Is there an update on that, or?
there's no update because we were not the new council is not do not agree with vision the old one, so we wanted to make a new public
Consultation?
exactly
Yes.
about that. We want to explain, you know, what the science says. The scientists say in you know in the and to implement, you know, what the science say about the bay. So I cannot tell you more than that at the beginning. But of course, we want to do something. But you know, it's because what we have to do is because it's not a decision. The first decision is what will be made by, as you know, Canada. They are is the federal jurisdiction. So we ask them, well, if we want to. So what I'm trying to say is we are only at the beginning, and you know the government is always long, so we have to make the public consultation to redo the process, and I will be able to tell you more about the after the public consultation.
Okay, sure.
Because my feeling, honestly, the council before they didn't, take into account they have their own, decision made before the public consultation, here and, so, and that's the reason they elected us and not them, because I try, to make them change their mind. So I went to the council, each council each month to talk about, speed limit and limitation in the bay, and also in October, it's maybe you don't know that, but it's very important to I think for me, it's a bit different for you, but the Quebec government obliged all the town and city to make a new bylaw about the drinkable water to avoid the people use the water just to wash their driveway, and because the resource is important, and the government sent a model, an example of that bylaw, the maybe 25%, and I can send it to you. You can find it very quickly on the web if you want to read it.
Okay.
And that's my model about the drinkable water. The rule only aims the water provided by the city or the town. But what they did, the council before, they include in the rules the private well. And people were very upset about that because they said, I pay for that, never the city. And they want to tell me when I will be able to put some water on my flower, and if I want to fill my spot, I won't be able to do it with the new bylaw. It doesn't make sense, because if people miss water, the city won't pay for that. It will be the owner of the house will have to pay, to drill another well. So. And honestly, when I did some door-to-door, people were very upset about it, and they were not aware about the new bylaw because it was just before the election in October. And honestly, we won the election in part because of that, because people here, they don't want, rule bylaw like a big city like Megan or Montreal, a small town. People know how to manage their own private well, the town to because you know what will happen if you don't like your neighbor and you see him filling his truck and he was not supposed to do. He will call the city because he doesn't like his neighbor.
Right.
So, it would be a mess. I don't want that. So for that reason, I want the city to make a new bylaw about the drinkable water and just use the model the provider because it's a very, very well done document. The engineer, professional lawyer contribute, to make a very, very good bylaw. So we don't have to make changes. And also the changes they put in the bylaw they adopt, in October. They have some, problem in the syntax, how the wording was made. So it doesn't make sense. And I'm a lawyer too. So and it was very easy to see. It was not a lawyer who did write the modifications. So and I compare, the model with the bylaw they adopted in October, and I see the model they just changed the water provided by the city, not the private well. Doesn't make sense because, and I talked to them because 3 of the old council were re-elected. I asked them why do you include the private well? Doesn't make sense. And he said they want to save the water in the ground. Yeah, but people when I made door to door, I talked with them about that, and they said, you know what? Because in the bylaw, it says if you want to fill your spot, you have to call a company to deliver water to your home. But where do you think the company will take the water? At the same place you take yours. So they will sell you your own water. and also it would make pollution, because it will send gas to come to your home. It doesn't make sense. So it's some crazy thing like that. I was very upset about that, and I tried to ask them, because bylaws are important, but not too much. If you don't see any abuse, you don't have to change to make more bylaws and more and more. People don't want that. You just make bylaws if you are obliged because you say that people abuse of a certain situation. But in another case, you don't have to say to your neighbor, okay, you want to put some tomato in your garden, but the fence you will put to protect against the animal in the cannot be more than 1 meter, but it doesn't make sense because some animals are higher than that, and 1 meter it's very easy for them to just jump over that. So some kind of bylaws that didn't make sense, and because of that, I decided to put my name to be elected as a mayor. And like my boss I had in the past told me, take care what you ask because maybe the answer can be yes often. And finally they elected me, so it was a surprise. But yeah, after that, it was not a surprise because people like me, they were not happy with the council before. And I don't know if you know that, but in 2021, because if you have to go before to fully understand the whole picture. In 2021, no one wanted to be elected. It was very difficult for a lot of towns across the Quebec to have some candidates to be councillor and in 2021, Mr. Martineau was a councillor before, and no one wanted to be a mayor, and they forced him to be the mayor, but he was 76 and 75 at that moment, and so they were able to fill the spot, very difficultly, and only one councillor seat was, was
Contested?
no was they had an election only for one. All other one are was only one candidate, so they were
Right.
By acclamation. Yeah, and so yeah, and I don't want to be rude, but when you don't have a lot of candidates, the quality, is not very. The quality will be higher if you have more than one candidate for each seat. So, and because we saw, how they managed the city during the 4 years, that's the reason it was not only me, three other person with me, we presented ourselves, to be new candidate, and we won the 4. So, it's a reason 4 new faces arrive and they want their exam because, they weren't, the citizens were not happy.
That was Stanstead Township Mayor Jean-Pierre Berger. As you heard, the municipality is navigating a mix of financial pressure, infrastructure decisions, and policy changes, all of which could have a direct impact on residents in the year ahead. You can read the full text article at pulsetownships.com. Thanks for listening. I'm William Crooks, and always remember, keep that finger on the pulse.
The Pulse. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse. Broadcast just for you. Are you heading out for a cruise? Or lying there for a snooze? The Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse. Broadcast just for you. Hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that gal too. The Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse. Broadcast just for you. The townships are the muse. Make sure to choose the Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse. The Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse, the Pulse. The Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast just